Stella, Splash, Simba, Boo, Sammy, Richard, Nancy, Goldie, Ziggy, Ringo, Eva, Hydrox, and Ditto, the Lucky Ferals. It is 8:56 a.m. and here's Boo. And he relaxed last night. I don't know how much sleep he got because, whenever I was looking at him, he wasn't sleeping. He eventually did use the litter box. He peed a few times, pooped a small poop. He drank a lot of water yesterday when he got home. And he didn't eat much food. He ate like a little bit of food, definitely not like a full meal. And this morning, I gave him 2 of his medicines already. So he has his medicine that's supposed to help with his anemia. I gave him that one first because I figured, I haven't given a cat medicine by mouth in a while. Let me practice on that one. So if something happens, he spits out the dose or something, then it's not terribly bad. But after I gave him that one, then I gave him his FIP medicine. That he has to have twice a day, and that's the one that, I have to make sure he gets the dose. And what I had to do is I had to wrap him up as much as I could. I also had to practically sit on him. He did not like that medicine. He was really making horrible noises, but eventually I got, I would say 95% of it in him. Then I let him relax for a little bit. I gave him a churro as a treat. He didn't want it. I gave him little tiny pieces of ham. He ate a few of them. And then let him relax a little bit. And I've been trying to get him to eat some kind of breakfast, but he doesn't want to eat anything. He took a few licks of some Fancy Feast savory centers, and he took a few licks of the kidney wet food that the vet gave us to try. But he's not eating a full meal, so I have to figure out how to get these calories into him. I also tried some of the kidney dry food, and he didn't eat that. Now, when he was in the hospital, from what I could tell, he only ate when I fed him and I'd get there for lunch and dinner. So maybe he's just not used to eating in the morning for the past 3 days or so. Also, one of the medicines, so I have to give him 2 more medicines as well as the fluids. And one of the medicines requires, food in the stomach. It's an antibiotic. It says with food. So that's why I'm trying to get a little bit of food into his stomach so I could give him the other medicines. So the other one that's left is the antibiotic and then the steroid. The reason why he's on the steroid is to try to bring down the inflammation in his kidneys. Okay, Boo? Also from the animal hospital, I picked up a tub of the Churu Nourish. I haven't tried those with him yet to see if he likes them. They have double the calories of a regular Churu. So the regular Churu has 6 calories. Those have 12 calories to try to get some calories into him. But other than that, he seems to be doing good. I was absolutely surprised at how much he fought me today with those medicines. I was like, oh my gosh. He does want to leave the room, but I don't want him to leave the room until he gets the rest of his medicine and until he eats something. I'd rather he just stayed in this room and relaxed because he needs to sleep today. Today needs to be a sleep day for him. I don't know how much sleep he got in the animal hospital. He really didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night, so I want today to be a sleep day. What would you like to eat, Boo? What can I give you that you'll actually eat? Now, I can give him the appetite stimulant. You rub it in his ear. I could try that and see how that works. I wanted to try to avoid as much of the unnecessary medicine as I could, just to give his body a chance to recover. The less medicine it's processing, the better. But if he's not going to eat, I might have to try that. Okay. It's 9:09 a.m. Here's Boo. He was relaxing comfortably, and I wanted to show him to you, but now he's getting up, so I'm going to shut the door. Boo, you got to go relax, okay? I'm going to take a shower, and when I come back, you're going to eat more food, okay, Boo? Okay, go. You're not coming out. You're not coming out. Here's Simba. What I was going to say is that I just got a call from the pharmacy that will be sending the rest of Boo's FIP medication. It ends up that they're about 2 hours away, so they're going to ship it, so I don't have to drive down there. I guess it's not widely available, so it's pretty expensive. It's like $610 for, I think it was like a 20-day supply, and he's going to need to be on it for 80 days if we see improvement on it. So that's the situation. Supposedly it's a new drug that was very recently approved in the United States, so maybe that's why. But anyway, we're going to give it a try. So I'm going to try to get moving, try to get more food into Boo and see what we could do. It is 7 a.m. and here's Boo. And I slept in here last night. I should say, Boo took his medicines last night. He got his subcutaneous fluids. He did so good with that. He did so good. And then what happened was, in the middle of the night, Boo jumped on top of me because he likes laying on top of me. And I noticed that his breathing was like really heavy. Like I've never felt him breathing that heavy before. And so I was like saying, okay, well, maybe he's just, hyped up. I don't know if he was like walking around the room. I said, let me see if he'll just calm down a little bit. But his breathing never calmed down. So that's not good. He's still breathing really, really heavy. So I have to take him back to the animal hospital today. I'm actually waiting for Grandpa Farrell, who should be here in about an hour. And he's going to help me because I only got 3 hours of sleep last night. Like, I don't even know how I'm functioning right now. Boo drank a ton of water this morning. He also drank water yesterday. Now, if Boo does have FIP, there's something that's called wet FIP, and he could be having fluids accumulating in his chest and his abdomen. And that is what could be causing his heavy breathing. If that's the case, they can drain some of those fluids and restore his breathing back to normal. And, he's currently on, today would be day 3 of his treatment for FIP, I believe. I have to check into that. Hopefully the treatment will work. But, I don't know for sure if that's what's going on with him. It could be fluid building up somewhere else. It could just be something totally different. But I definitely have to bring him back today. Hopefully he'll cooperate. Hopefully they'll take him right away because he is critical. And he's such a good boy. I love you so much, Boo. I want you to feel better, okay, buddy? I want you to feel better, my sweetie, my sweet Boo. So that's where that stands. I have to get myself dressed and ready to go. I put the screen door in Boo's room so he can see Splash and Simba. I don't want to take him out of his room right now because I need to get him into a carrier sooner rather than later. And I don't want him hiding like underneath something. I just want to keep him as calm as possible. And it's just easier to try to get him into a carrier. But I did put the screen down so the cats could see each other. Simba's been growling at him because, obviously Boo doesn't smell the same after being in the hospital and everything. He's still breathing really, really heavy. And, he's definitely not himself. So I'm working on getting the carrier ready. And so we could take him back. I called the animal hospital to let them know that we're coming in. It is 9 a.m. I just got Boo in the carrier. This is what I have to do with this room. So I have to take everything off the day sofa. Then I have to take the cushion off the day sofa and block anywhere he can run. And then I have to take the frame and turn it upside like that. Then I had to grab a towel and put Boo in the carrier with the towel. So for a cat that's breathing really heavy and supposedly doesn't feel well, he still has a lot of energy and a lot of fight in him. So we're going to see what the animal hospital says.
Taking a look at him, he's breathing very heavy.
Yeah.
He now has a heart murmur.
Okay.
He now has abnormal lung sounds.
Okay.
And he has a lot of fluid in his chest.
Yeah.
I believe at this point, I don't know if this is related to FIP at all. We're not even sure he has FIP.
Yeah.
It's very possible he doesn't and he just has kidney failure.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that he has now gone into heart failure on top of the kidney failure from the fluids. I think his body just can't handle what's going on, and I think his organs are all starting to fail now. So in addition to his kidneys, his heart is failing, and it's causing this fluid in his chest and trouble breathing. He's very sick. We're not seeing improvement, and he's getting worse.
So there's nothing that can be done?
So I think the only thing we can consider at this point that I don't even think I would recommend would be admitting him back to the hospital. He needs oxygen therapy and injectable diuretics and have that fluid removed from his chest. If you are inclined, we can do that again, but knowing that, you know, he doesn't seem to do well in hospital, and he's very sick, and I do think he's suffering at this point. And I do honestly recommend humane euthanasia today. I know we're trying everything for him and we're hoping he'll get better, but he's just continuing to get worse.
It sounds like there are no other options.
I think that we're kind of at that point where we've done everything and it's just getting worse.
But do we know what's causing this? Like,
unfortunately, we don't. All I know is his kidneys are failing. They're very, very large still. I suspect his kidney values probably went up since he was last here because they were continuing to go up. It's possible that it could be FIP or a cancer, but we haven't found anything so far that really tells us that's what it is. I think it's possible we could wait a week for the FIP test to come back, and it might be negative. And it might not be FIP. My biggest concern at this point is that this could be just something congenital and underlying. If it's not an infection or cancer, it may just be that his body has done this and he can't compensate for it anymore.
It is 1:10 p.m. and I don't have any cats to show you right now. All the cats are hiding somewhere. Simba has been out socializing, but I don't know where he is right now. But Boo passed away today. He passed away this morning. He was humanely euthanized at the animal hospital because when he got there, he was breathing very, very heavy. And they took him to the back and they examined him. And they found out that he had a massive buildup of fluid in his chest area and in his lungs and around his lungs. And he had a heart murmur and his heart was giving out. So he was starting to go into heart failure. They felt that there really wasn't anything else that could be done for him because he had been going into kidney failure last week. And if they were to treat the heart failure, it would aggravate the kidney failure. And treating the kidney failure aggravated the heart failure or even potentially brought on the heart failure. So Boo is dealing with his organs shutting down. And he was having a lot of trouble breathing. So they put him immediately in an oxygen tank and were administering oxygen to him. And basically said that he could go into cardiac arrest at any minute. And if I was to take him home, he could last hours or he could last days. But he would be suffering because he was having trouble breathing. And I know that for a fact because when he jumped on me in the middle of the night, I could feel that. I could feel he was having trouble breathing, which is why I made the choice to bring him to the animal hospital this morning. So there was nothing more that could have been done for him. We did everything. And I'm at such a loss right now, especially after everything I've been through over the past 2 months. Stella passed away a little more than 2 months ago. Like right now, it's April. It's April 27th. And my birthday is tomorrow. This is such a horrible birthday. And Stella passed away on February 6th. And the grief that I feel over Boo is completely different from the grief that I felt over Stella. The grief that I felt over Stella was mixed with anxiety and anger and trauma based on what I had witnessed and experienced with her in the emergency room that she went to. And when Boo was at this animal hospital, I honestly thought that maybe the reason Stella passed away was to save Boo's life. Because if Stella had not gone to that emergency room and had not passed away, I probably would have brought Boo there instead of the animal hospital where I brought him instead. And I do have to say that during the time that he was at the animal hospital, I do feel like he got really good care. And I do feel like the vets that helped him really cared about him. And the vet that was there today was the same vet that was helping him for the last 2 days when he was hospitalized. So I'm glad that's the case, because I'm glad that she sees the results of her care. And I'm not saying she was negligent. I'm not saying she was incompetent. I'm just saying, you know, when you go to an emergency room or an animal hospital, the vets are, you know, like rotating. You don't always get the same vet. It's kind of rare that you do. So the fact that she had been treating Boo the majority of the times when he was hospitalized, and then she was there today to put him down, I think that's how it should be. The most difficult part of it was that Boo did not want to go. When Stella passed away, she was extremely ill. Her body was basically lifeless. The same thing for Ditto, the same thing for Hydrox. They were all so extremely ill. They just laid there on the table, and you just knew it was like, okay, it's time. The last time I saw Stella alive, I did not share photos of that because it's too disturbing. She was on oxygen, and she was basically just laying lifeless on the table. And I knew that if something happened to her overnight, she most likely would not be conscious during that. But Boo, today, he was completely alert. When I held him, I could feel him taking such deep breaths because he could not breathe. But other than that, he did not want to go. He wanted to walk back and forth on the counter in the exam room, and then he crawled himself into the corner behind the sink, and he did not want to leave that corner. And I spent so much time just petting him and loving on him and telling him it was okay to go, that I'll take care of Splash and Simba, and he could go be with Stella, and he could see Hydrox and Ditto. But he did not want to leave. I could not pick him up because he tried to fight me. Grandpa Farrell petted him for a long time, said his goodbyes, and Boo would not budge. Finally, the vet decided that maybe we could move him out of the corner and then be able to like pick him up and put him on the exam table. And that's what happened. So when Boo was finally moved to the exam table, I held him very tightly as he was given the injection to sedate him. I felt his body relax. And then he was given the injection that stopped his heart. And then the vet checked to make sure that he had passed. And he had passed. And that was the absolute most difficult cat euthanasia that I've ever experienced. Because other than not being able to breathe, and obviously his kidneys shutting down, his heart was shutting down, his organs were all shutting down. Mentally, he was absolutely alert. He did not want to go anywhere. I told him that he doesn't have to stay here for me, that I'll be okay. His kittens will be okay. All the cats will be okay, and he could just go be with Stella, but he still did not want to leave. And that's what made it so hard. But what made it a little tiny bit easier is that I knew that if he stayed here, he would just be in pain and he would end up suffocating to death because he couldn't breathe. And I would not want to put him through hours of suffering, days of suffering. I don't think he would have lasted more than a few days. And I would not want to just have him suffer like that for days, where he can't breathe and he's just struggling to breathe until he took his last breath. And to be honest with you, when I was sleeping here last night, and then when he jumped on me and I felt his breathing and I knew something was wrong, part of me felt like this was him saying goodbye to me. Because if I had not slept here and if he had not jumped on top of me so that I could feel him breathing, I probably would have not realized the extent of how serious everything is. Because sometimes if you just look at a cat breathing, it's completely different than if you actually feel them like laying on top of you and breathing. And he kept shifting positions, and first he was laying like on my stomach, and then he was laying on my side, then he was laying on my legs, and he just kept moving around. And I remember thinking, is Boo trying to say goodbye to me? But then in the morning, when he had so much energy and he had so much fight in him and he ate 2 of the liquid cat treats, I was like, wow, this is great. He's eating. And he did not want to come out from underneath the day sofa. Like, he did not want to go anywhere. I honestly thought that maybe there was some hope for him. I don't know where I left off with what I was saying before. I had someone drop in, so I spent some time with them. And now I'm downstairs. So this morning, I just fed all the cats some dry cat food and picked everything up and went to the animal hospital with Boo. Being home again, this time without him, knowing that he's gone, it's such an empty feeling. I think this lump is Sammy. I might have been talking about how difficult it was to put him down because he still had so much energy in him. I knew it had to be done because he was having such a hard time breathing. And there was no way that they could clear the fluids out of his chest. And there was no way that they could repair his kidneys or repair his heart. So after the vet was finally able to scoot him out of the corner where he was, planting himself because he did not want to go anywhere, we brought him to the exam table. And I held him so tightly for 2 reasons. 1, because I didn't want him to squirm off the table. And 2, because I did not want to let him go. And even as I was holding him, I could feel how much he was struggling to breathe. And so the vet gave him the injection that calmed him down. And then she gave him the injection that stopped his heart. And I petted him and I held him and I said my goodbyes. And I can't believe he's gone. I can't believe he's gone. It literally feels like it was just a few months ago when he was living outside and I was socializing him and training him and getting him ready to be a house cat. But that was almost 8 years ago. And I just feel like I didn't have enough time with him. The same thing like I felt with Stella. I feel like they were taken away from me too soon. I did not have enough time with them. I honestly thought that they'd be at least living till 17, 18, 19 years old, if not more than that. Because I always did everything to try to keep them healthy. I've always gone out of my way to buy them the healthiest foods and to make them homemade healthy food. And then this happens. And so my entire view of anything cat food related is once again shattered. And my entire view of anything cat health related is once again shattered. And I'm questioning everything because nothing makes sense. And I'm also very disappointed in the fact that all the time that I've had Boo, people have said to me, well, he's FIV positive, but, that doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't change their lives. They can live long, healthy lives even though they're FIV positive. Why didn't anyone ever tell me that if a cat is FIV positive, it makes them more susceptible to diseases like FIP? I still don't know if Boo actually had FIP, but if a cat has FIV, they are more susceptible to FIP because their immune system is weaker. Why didn't anyone tell me that a cat with FIV has 6 times a greater chance of getting lymphoma than a non-FIV cat? I mean, these are just 2 things that have come up over the past few days that I never knew about because everyone, even vets, only ever told me, oh, well, a cat with FIV, they're okay. They can live their whole life. It's fine. As long as they're taken good care of, they'll be healthy. If I would have known, then I could have made changes. I could have had Boo on supplements for years with regards to either of those issues. I could have made changes that could have changed his future. And it's mind-boggling to me that I never came across that information until the past few days. With all the books that I've read about cat health and cat nutrition and all the videos that I've watched and all the articles that I've read, why is it that I've never seen that information before? And why is it, again, that I have another cat that nobody really knows why he died or what actually caused his passing? I mean, that's what happened with Stella. There's no definitive reason for her passing. No one can tell me exactly what was causing the level of ketones in her body that were making her feel so bad that I took her to the emergency room. Now, I do know that she eventually passed because the emergency room mishandled her and took out too much of her blood. And she would have had a chance to survive if she had gone to the animal hospital that Boo went to. But even the animal hospital that Boo went to, yeah, we know that he was brought there because his kidney values were elevated. But why were his kidney values elevated? 8 months ago, they were perfectly fine. What would cause them within the past 8 months to become so elevated? It doesn't make any sense. So I'm very, very disappointed in the veterinary establishment. Why doesn't anybody have more information with regards to cat health? Why is everything always a mystery? Why is everything always guessing? And that's what I'm tired of. Every vet that I go to, everything is always a guess. Whether it's the animal hospital, whether it's the emergency room, whether it's the holistic vets that the cats have gone to, everything is always a guess. Well, it might be this or it might be that. Nobody ever knows. I'm so tired of that. And look, it is Sammy. Hello, Sammy. How are you? You being a good girl today? I know it's a strange day today, Sammy. It's a strange day. What I've been doing today is laying on the couch and watching TV. And that's all I want to do. I don't want to do anything today. I just need to rest and recover. I don't feel the need to write everything down like I did with Stella. With Stella, everything was going through my head, just going over and over and over it again because nothing made sense. Nothing made sense. Boo is different because I didn't have the level of trauma or neglect or incompetence that I did with Stella. I do feel like the animal hospital that we went to did what they could for him to the best ability that they could for him. The only what ifs that I do have, the biggest what if that I have is what if I just refused all treatments? What if I said, you know what, you could give him fluids and if his numbers don't come down, then I'm just going to take him home and I'm just going to give him supportive care and then that'll be that. I'm just going to, make him comfortable, give him some quality of life and that'll be that. I honestly think he would have lived longer. And maybe, potentially, his condition could have been reversed because I ordered all the herbal supplements for the kidneys, for his lymphatic system, in case he had lymphoma. I have them all here. I ordered them all from multiple companies because I said in case one, he doesn't like eating, in case he doesn't like the flavor of this one, I'll use this company. And I was ready to do that. I was completely ready to do that. And then the animal hospital kept, throwing different things at me. Well, maybe he has an infection. We're going to give him antibiotics. And now we're going to give him steroids to bring the swelling down. And now we're going to give him a drug to bring his iron up. And now we're going to do this. And now we're going to do that. And honestly, I think it was just pharmaceutical overload. Completely. If he's going to heal his body, his body needs strength to do that and it needs support. It does not need a bunch of chemicals pumped into it. And I really feel like that is what weakened everything because if you have a weak body to begin with and then you start pumping all these chemicals and pharmaceuticals into it, it's only going to make it weaker. It's not going to make it stronger. And that's my big regret with Boo. That is my biggest regret with Boo because there is not a doubt in my mind that if he had not gone through all of these pharmaceutical drugs and everything that they were pumping into him, he would have at least gotten a few extra weeks of life, maybe even a few extra months of life. If we look at Ditto got 5 months. 5 months. Boo got 5 days. That's my big regret with Boo. That's my what if. But there's nothing I could do about it now. I just have to, accept the fact that he's gone and grieve his loss and miss him every day. I'm scooping out this color-changing litter in Boo's room, and I'm seeing quite a bit of blue, dark green, which indicates a health problem. And here it says, alkalinity outside of the average range may be present if your cat has certain types of urinary tract infections. Highly alkaline urine can increase the risk of struvite crystal stone formation. I also think that maybe the cocktail of pharmaceutical drugs that he was on changed the pH of his urine. But what this does go to show you is that this color-changing litter definitely works. And this is the Pretty Litter Health Monitoring Cat Litter. And the reason why I put it here in Boo's room for the past few days is so I could monitor what was going on. And I did not see Blue prior to now. So he would have used this overnight. And this would have been another indication of a health issue. If I had not noticed his breathing, I would have seen this dark blue here in the litter box, and that would have alerted me. So if you're dealing with health issues in your cats, you think they might have health issues, definitely check out this Pretty Litter. It could potentially help your cat. So I'm cleaning out the litter boxes in Boo's room, and I just realized that a week ago today it was Easter. And on Easter, Boo was acting absolutely fine. He was so happy. I had family over the house, and he was so happy visiting with them, and he was playing with toys, and he was running around the house, and he was jumping up on top of cat towers, and he was in such a great mood. The only thing that was off was that, he was being super picky with what he was eating. That was the only thing. Like, I had 4 or 5 different cans of food open for him to try, and, he was being super fussy. At that time, we're still waiting for test results. It was another 2 days until I got the test results and then took him to the animal hospital. But that's how fast things change. Literally, like in a week. A week he went from acting totally normal, just being fussy with his food, and his kidney numbers were high, and now he's gone. He's gone because he had a chest full of fluid in his lungs, a heart murmur, a weakened heart, enlarged kidneys, a mottled spleen, thickened intestines. Like, so much. It just goes to show you never know. It is 3:38 p.m. and I'm downstairs. I'm doing a whole bunch of laundry, like all cat laundry, all the blankets and everything that was in Boo's room. And I just realized why Boo's passing is hitting me so differently than Stella's passing. And that's because when Stella passed away, like, my heart was broken. It felt like it was just ripped out of my body. And now with Boo's passing, I don't feel that. The reason why it's not breaking my heart is because my heart's already broken. I've been walking around with a broken heart since Stella passed away. So how do you break a heart that's already broken? Boo's passing is still breaking my heart, but it's just on a different level than Stella's passing did. It's 9:36 p.m. I was just going to go to bed, and look who I found in Boo's room. So Simba is all stretched out on the day sofa, which is fine. And here's Splash. And Splash was on top of the cat tower. But I think he heard me moving around, so now he moved. You guys want to squeeze up? You want a churu? Want churu or squeeze up? I'll give you a treat. So what I was gonna actually sleep here tonight and put the TV on and watch some TV. But if they want to stay here, that's fine. They could hang out in here. The room's nice and clean right now. All right, guys, you want a treat?